The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a platform and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. These Best You EXPO talks are recorded in front of a live audience in a live event. We highly recommend that you focus on the message. As they say, what you focus on expands. Enjoy. Shea Vaughn. Shea is a lifestyle pioneer and nationally recognized health and wellness authority. She's a co-founder and CEO of WBTN, the Women's Broadcast Television Network, an online TV network with original content created for women, which reaches a global audience of over 30 million through partners like Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Chromecast, Google Play, and more. Vaughn is the mother of actor Vince Vaughn, is also the creator of Shenatics, a values-based doctor-endorsed lifestyle practice. And her innovative work has earned her the affectionate title of America's Queen of Wellness, as well as the endorsement of the Department of Public Health. Vaughn's philanthropy is reflected in her work as a founder of the Healthy Initiative Foundation and is acclaimed for being a healthy ambassador program, the 90-Day Lifestyle Makeover. Shea basically spoke at the Best You EXPO in Long Beach, and she shared some beautiful things. She's a lovely lady who obviously has vast experience when it comes down to anything and everything related to health. She has massive experience, and she's going to be talking about the wellness factor in TV and media entrepreneurship. Enjoy.
America's sweetheart of fitness, Shea Vaughn, my really good friend. I'm so happy to have you. All you. All right, little mic check.
Can you guys hear me?
There we go.
There we go. I can't believe that 1 million people showed up. Oh my God, how lucky am I? All right. So I want to ask you a question right off the bat. How many of you believe that you need to feed your mind with positive thoughts that nourish your mind? Yes? And how many of you believe, I don't know why this isn't working, so let me get the whole thing on. It's not coming on. Here it comes. Okay. And how many of you believe that the things that you say and how you talk and your attitude that you have is who you are? You believe that? And do you also believe that those kinds of actions and attitudes is how people see us? Yeah, that's how they see us. That's why it's so important to be able to find your delete button. How many of you are interested in seeing your delete button? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little story that's true, and I'm going to put it all together for you so that it makes sense. So my daughter and her husband were dropping off the 2 kids, Dexter and Stella, who were 7 and 9. They lived up in the hills. They did. They don't live now. They lived up in the hills in LA, and we were in Chicago. So they were bringing the kids to drop them off with us so that they could take a much-needed getaway, right? So the kids were coming to stay with us for a week. They never had a chance to learn how to ride a bicycle. And so when they got there, I said, I've got a great idea. How about if we get a bicycle and we teach you how to ride? They were so excited. They were jumping up and down. So I went to the store, bought the bicycles. They were kind enough to actually drop them off for me. And when I went into the house to tell the kids that the bikes were there, they were running out, happy as possibly can be. And then all of a sudden, Stella, my drama queen, takes a look at the bike, takes a look at me, does it again, and I go, Stella, what is going on? And she said, I can't ride that bicycle. I said, what do you mean you can't ride that bicycle? She says, well, it doesn't have training wheels. I said, well, at 7 and 9 and your height, you have to get something appropriate that you can ride. She turns around to me and she says, I can't ride it because I'm going to smash myself into a tree. Car's going to come around the corner. It's probably going to kill me. I'm going to fall and get hurt. And I go, I'm just looking at her. All of a sudden, this is what I do. She looks at me. She says, what is that? I said, that's your delete button. I said, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to think that a car is going to come around the corner. It's okay that you're worried about the tree or that you're going to fall. But you need to change your words. You need to say that I'm going to give my best. She looked at me and she said, why would I say that? I said, well, you need to say that because that's going to get you on that bike and that's going to help you to ride it. So the whole week, drama queen, Stella, I'm going like this and she's giving me this. But guess what? They both learned to ride. So when their parents came to pick them up, they couldn't wait to get on those bikes and show them what they had accomplished. So then it was time for them to get in the car and go back to the airport. And of course, we did all the hugging and loving because they're the heartbeat of my life. And as they're driving out of the driveway, Stella takes her head and takes it out the window and looks at me and she goes, and I go like this. So the actions that we take and what we feed ourselves and what we say makes a huge difference. And when the actions that you take can be so powerful. And the one thing that I know is that when you have the right attitude, what do you get? The right results. Would you agree with me on that? So, everything that we do, even in life, do they come with training wheels? Does life come with training wheels? Wouldn't that be good? As entrepreneurs, wouldn't it be nice to have training wheels? It'd be great. So we need a plan. And I'm not talking about putting your business plan together and the financials. I'm talking about what do we do before that. So I want to give you the two things that are really important to me. Would you like to know them? They're up there right now, you guys. I'm not keeping a secret here. So for me, I always thank God for the great gifts that he's given me. And I thank him for those that weren't so good. Because those are the things that give us the stories. Those are the things that teach us our lessons. Yes? Of course. But do you ever feel sometimes that some of those ones that weren't so good kind of linger longer than what you want it to? Yeah. So here's what I do. I look up and I go, seriously? Isn't it time to move on? And isn't that true that we need to give ourselves permission to move on? Of course it is. Along with that, we have 5 principles of wellness that lead us to success. How many of you are looking for success? How many of you need tools, guides that are going to help you to get to where you want to be? Don't we need that? So we're going to talk about the 5 principles to get us to where we want to be. If we're stuck in something, how do we get out of it? So we're going to talk about commitment, perseverance, self-control, integrity, and love. You've heard these words before, but not in this order. And how do you really take it to heart and really make it work for you? So commitment is about being what? Committed. It's about being serious. How many of you are serious about the things that you want to do, your accomplishments, where you want to take your business to the next level? Yes, I see the hands going like this. It's not a New Year's resolution. What do we do with New Year's resolutions? We make them every single year. 2 weeks later, what? They're forgotten. So I want you to be serious about this, like having a contract that you make with yourself, like your mortgage that you have to pay or your insurance. And even more importantly, if you had kids that you had to pick up at a certain time, you would do anything to get there on time. Yes? Oh, yeah, we know that. So this is serious. I want you to write this down and think about this. I want you to take Post-its. I want you to write down what it is that you want to accomplish, and I want you to sign your name on that. And then I want you to post it all over so that you can be reminded about your commitment. Make sense? We need reminders, you guys. We also need to tell people what we're doing because we need cheerleaders in our lives. They will help us. Perseverance is exactly what it sounds like. If something was going to be easy, we would already what? Have it done. So this is where the work comes in. This is where we put our grit together. And there's no option to quit or to give up. That's what perseverance is all about. Self-control is, we want to find balance in life. How many of you want to find balance in life? We all want to do that, but how do we get it? Who's going to give it to us? Ourselves. So we have to step forward and we have to accept the responsibility that the only way that we're going to get self-control is by giving it to ourselves. Acknowledging it, that it's only going to come from us. And I'm talking emotionally too. So many times we get out of control and we really need to pull ourselves back and we really need to say to ourselves, seriously, I need to walk away for 5 minutes. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's just about sometimes you need space. But in business, in fact, I'll tell you a funny story. My husband and I, we know these principles so well that when we're, talking back and forth and we don't agree on something, we just throw 3. We don't even call it what it is, just has a number now. Integrity. How many times are we really honest with ourselves? I definitely believe that most people are honest to other people. And I said most are honest because things come up and they're not always honest. But being honest with yourself is most important. How many times do you ask yourself, how hard am I trying? How hard am I trying? Because if you tell yourself you're doing your best, I believe that you're probably thinking that you're doing your best. But is it true that sometimes we say we're doing our best and maybe that's an excuse or it sounds good to us? Oh yeah, everybody's going like this. Of course.
If you're interested in speaking, exhibiting, or getting involved in the largest personal development expos in the world, contact us today at www.thebestyouexpo.com or send us an email to info@thebestyou.co.
So when I teach classes, I always ask my students to share something with me, to be able to tell me that they're really trying 100%. Do you know when I ask that in a class, and I taught 2 Shea Nettick's classes, and you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to go through that right now. But Linda and other people, and Dr. Lawton Tang is here, they took my class at 2 o'clock. And the thing of it is that when you really ask yourself if you're doing it, you're giving your best to it and you're giving it 100%, guess what happens, you guys? Success. Give your hand up if you want success in your life. Of course. So that's important. Be honest with yourself, check in with yourself, and make sure that you're giving it your best, which is 100%. And love is all about loving yourself. When you do these things and you make the right decisions, isn't that how we love ourselves better? Isn't it easier? We make life easier for ourselves. Not only that, we set such great examples for other people to follow. And sometimes we're not even thinking about that, but they see it. Our kids see it. They don't listen to what we say anymore, right? But they certainly see how we act and what we do and the choices that we're making. So once again, I want to tell you a story that brings this together. So I mentioned to you that when I teach a class, I always ask my students to share something. So Scott raised his hand, and here's what he said. He said, last week I was fired. Friday was my last day. He said, I put my coat on and my scarf, was in Chicago, so it was cold. And he said, I went to work. I obviously wasn't feeling very good. Right? And he said, but when I got there, he said, I took my coat and my scarf off, and he said, I sat down and I was thinking about the fact that there was a project that I was working on that I really thought was important, but obviously nobody else thought it was. And he said, my knee-jerk reaction was to get up and just go home because nobody cared. He said, but I couldn't help but to hear your voice in my ear saying commitment, perseverance, self-control, integrity, and love. He said, I made a decision that I would stay there and finish the project. He said, it took longer than I thought it was going to. And he said, but here's what I got out of it when I was done. I was committed to do the right thing. I persevered through it because I had no help. I was honest with myself that I was doing it just for me. Nobody else would probably take a look at it. And he said, you know, when it was all done, I felt so good about myself. He said, I got up and felt like I'd really felt the love that making the right choice and giving back, even though it's not going to be seen, meant more to me than anything else. You know what, you guys? In 2 weeks, he was asked to come back. How important is it to really make those kinds of choices when you're really feeling down and you don't think you're going to get anything out of it? Guess what? You do. It always comes back to you. So when I talk about the principles, I talk about them because I've had a lot of things in my life where I've had to actually put them together, especially trying to make my dream come true. How many of you have dreams that come true? Apply them, you guys, because they help. My dream come true was I was in Chicago, and I was on 3 major national networks, being a contributor, and I always wanted to host my own show. You ever get so close to something that you feel like you can taste it? Yes? You ever feel like you can reach out and grab it, but then when you open up your hand, it's just sand that comes out, falls to the floor? Well, that's what happened to me. So I had to step back and take a look at everything. Say, why? And one of the things that I saw was that there are so many amazing people out there that accomplished so much, but could not get their own show. And it dawned on me that women don't have the same opportunity. Like today, they have more, but they didn't have it then. Or else I sucked at what I do. That wasn't a good pill to swallow, so I went with the other ones, just so you know that. So the thing of it was, for my dream to come true, I was lucky enough to be able to apply the 5 principles for success and wellness. And I met my partner, Janie Rios, who's probably one of the best IT people out there. And we decided that the time was right. And we decided that we would build a television network. But there's certain things that we really wanted to make sure that anybody that came on our network, that they would be able to achieve. So, women on TV, we give them a voice. We have the 3 C's, which is called the power of the collective, bringing everything together and making it bloom. So I'm going to talk to you about the opportunities that women have. So here's what I want to say to you guys right now. So the guys that are out there right now, I kind of see them like crouching down, in their seats. So she's talking about women. Well, I want to put a smile on your face and get you to sit up nice and tall, because we support men too, especially men that stand next to us, shoulder to shoulder, to support us. In fact, 45% of our viewers are men. And I want to say I think they're smart. Why? They're smart because they want to know what women's issues are. They want to know what women are talking about. Why? Because women make 85% of the decisions about buying. Does that make sense? Figure out what they're doing? Of course it does. So, the opportunities to connect. That's what you've been doing for 2 days, is connecting, right? But really what's important about connecting is not just about what you get out of it because you meet somebody, but what you can help them with. You've been hearing this all through this, event. But the point of it is that you need a platform that you can monetize yourself, your brand, your products, and your services. How many of you think that's important? Of course you do. So it's like giving a platform that you can call home, that you can accomplish all of this with. Now I'm going to talk about collaboration, and I want to tell you that is so deeply bedded inside of me, and it is so important. But what I need to do first and foremost is I need to ask the guys that are here to put their earmuffs on. Got your earmuffs on? And then I ask you ladies to really pay attention and focus on what I'm going to say and lean forward. Women are not necessarily great at collaboration. Why? They bring jealousy, competition, and even sexuality, flirting to get to where they want to be. Yes or no? Have you seen it? Yes. Come on, you guys. Women out there going like this. Guys standing back and say, yeah, I've seen that a little bit with those women, but men don't do those things. That's true. They don't. So here's what I have to say. Does that benefit them? We believe that Women United are changing the world. Anybody, any woman out there that want to be a part of that? Of course you do. Thank you. Thank you. We want you to be a part of it too. So Women United are changing the world. And so what we need to do is we need to get rid of all that stuff. We need to step up and lead by what? Example. People who walk the walk and talk the talk are the real thing, that are authentic. Yes? And here's what I want to tell you about is partnerships are the most important thing that you can do. And that's what we're trying to do. And sometimes you run into someone that might even be doing some of the same things that you're doing, and you think that's competition. I can tell you I never look at that as competition. We look at it like there's always something that we can partner with. Yes? A different way to look at things, but amazing what happens when you open up your mind and you really do want to partner. Communication. I have to laugh a little bit on this, because have you ever had that moment when you've asked someone what they do and they go on for 20 minutes and after 20 minutes you're still not sure what they're talking about? Anybody experienced that?
Having promoted more than 600 speakers and more than 65,000 people attend my seminars and courses and workshops and expos, having read so many books and attended so many courses, I really realized that the basics of personal, professional growth is based on the power of the question. Asking yourself empowering questions. Read my new book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose. It's based on my work, 30 years of entrepreneurship, all the experiences that I have, my manifesto, and what's really important. So for more information, go to www.thequestion.co.
So the thing of it is that your message is really important. We talk about the elevator speech and how important that is. So do you guys want to ask me what I do? What? I put men and women on TV and I give them a broader audience to deliver their message. Did that make sense? So let me ask you something. Who is out there that has their elevator speech down so that you can stand up right now and deliver that to me, and the million people that are in this room right now are going to hear you? Who wants to raise their hand? You want to do it, girl? Stand up. I'm going to let Bill do it too. Go ahead. Oh, I love this. Wow, can you give her a round of applause? Amazing. I'm going to give Bill a chance to stand up and tell what he does. He says, no, I've already been on stage, doesn't need to do it. Okay, so does that make sense, you guys? Connect, collaborate, and communicate your message. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do now. I am the CEO and co-founder of Women on TV. We used to call it WBTVN, but the truth of the matter, we relaunched it just a short time away, because every time someone went to go WBTVN, they'd leave the B out, or there was W this and whatever, and we wanted to make it simple. It's Women on TV. Make sense? Is that easier to remember, you guys? Of course it is. So we have a new era of watching TV. And that new era is that we watch it through what? Our phone? Our laptop? Our anything. We take it with us. And what else do we want? We want it when we want it, so we want it on demand. How many of you understand what OTT is? There's one person out there. Maybe you have a better explanation for it than I do, but here's what it is. Here's what it stands for. It stands for over the top. What's it stand for? Over the top. So it's a term that's actually used in broadcasting, whereby a provider is a standalone. So they don't use cable TV, they don't use satellite. They can actually take their content and distribution and do it on their own. So they're a standalone, just like Netflix, and just like some of our partners. So who's our partners? Can you see it there? Apple TV, Roku, Google Play, Amazon, Chromecast, and so much more. We have a reach of over 30 million viewers across the globe. Is that an accomplishment that you'd be proud of? Of course it would be. And so what we're doing is bringing hosts on the show that have a dream to come true, to be able to take their business to that next level. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time and talk to you about video on demand. So what do people want? They want videos. Do you know that last week I must have had 10 people that sent me a newsletter that was this long? Great content. Everybody reads the first 3 lines because they don't want to read all that. I actually sent out emails and said, I love what you're doing. And I did. I loved their content. They had a great message. But do you know that if they videotaped that and sent it out, where somebody just needed to punch a little button right there and listen to it, 50% more would actually get the message? Does that make sense? Yeah. So, and the great thing about it is that really what's happened is that technology has made it easy for us to do that. You can take your phone, you can take your app, you can take anything that you've got, and you can do that video. You can even do it on Zoom. You can do it on Skype. Does that sound like that's a possibility? And the other thing is that if you're doing a video, let's say that you do something that's like 3 minutes. Do you know you can take song bites out of that, just little pieces like 30 seconds, put it all over social media. Guess what? People are going to know more about you. Anybody doing any of that? Okay, some of you. How many of you should be doing it? The million that are sitting here, right here? Yes, everybody raised their hand. And then what's your return on your investment? It didn't cost you anything, so what kind of return do you have? 100%. How many of you would like to have 100% on your investment? Of course. I love this, you guys. So I'm not going to go through all of this. It's just the highlights of all of it. And let me see if that third one comes up. Yeah. So even if you're doing podcasts, do a video part of that and draw your people to that podcast. Just a little video when you're sitting there. You can just take it even before you start. You'll drive people to come to that. Any kind of thing like e-learning. Anybody do any e-learning? Put it on video. You don't even have to show up and you're going to make money. Does that sound like fun? I think so. So, one of the most important things is that making your dream come true. How many of you are not quite sure what your dreams are yet? I see that all the time. I see people raising your hands in the back. You're kind of looking for it. Don't be stressed about that. It'll come to you. Don't think so hard, just kind of like you have to let things go free before they actually come back to you. So here's a question I have for you. How many of you would like to see an actual show? Because my time is coming up to do my show right now. How would you like to see a show on Women on TV? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Tony has promised that he would bring the TV out to me. It's heavy, but he promised that he would do it. Is he in the back? Is he listening? I might have to go back and get it myself, you guys, which I did not plan to do. I would have brought it up on the stage and had it up here. But I don't have a choice. So we do what we have to do. The show's about to start, you guys, and I have to get ready. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. You're listening to the Shea Vaughn Show, and we're here on WBTVN, which we now call Women on TV. And I am so excited about who our guests are. Because you won't believe it, we have 1 million people sitting in this audience. And guess what? Best You EXPO